Okay, you may be wondering, what is on my screen? If you couldn't tell, and if you are an inferior, idiotic swine, then, and you don't know who this is, you may leave. Anyway. That was Vilgax. If you don't know who Vilgax is, I'm not sitting down. If you don't know who Vilgax is, well, I'm honestly surprised. Vilgax was one of the most OG of the villains. He was in my favorite cartoon as a kid. Well, growing up. The new reboot just did him dirty. I mean, he does look kind of cool. But, you know, they missed his whole aesthetic. You know, his thing is, he uses cybernetics to enhance his physical form so he doesn't get screwed over. Sorry. I had to drink some water. Throat's a little dry. I tried to make part 2 to a different video, and it just did not go according to plan. So I had to delete it. A different video was supposed to come out, but I came up with this and was like, screw it. So, the way I'm going to do this is, I'm going to say, you know, Izuku isn't going to have squid face, but he is going to be able to, like, squid arms. I guess you could say. He's also going to have that respirator on, like, all times. So everyone, you know, when he first walks into UA, everyone's going to think he's super weird. From the day he's born, you know, the doctors immediately notice, like, he's suffocating. You know, they hook him, you know, they put his face into, like, a machine made for people with aquatic quirks. You know, they notice his blood oxygen level is still all over the place. So they, I don't know. One of them figures out that his quirk requires him to have copper, you know, a lot more copper in what he breathes. Now, if I remember correctly, I don't know. You know how the predators have green blood? Well, in some cases, I don't know, somehow copper turns, like, I don't know. Basically, I saw a video, this guy was explaining how the predator's normal air is probably more dense and has a lot more, I don't know, like, some kind of material that makes their blood green. I don't know how it works. Basically, Izuku has to breathe the same stuff, but water. Because, you know, they scan him, they realize it isn't a quirk, his body mutated, but they don't know why. You know. And, you know, Hisashi's like, wait, what does he look like again? You know, Hisashi sees his kid, he's like, no way. My great-great-grandfather had a similar quirk, but he didn't live all that long. Also, Izuku's intelligence is through the roof. Like, the moment he's able to pick up a book, he's going to be able to learn a lot faster than any normal creature. Because Vilgax was one of the smartest beings in the galaxy. Now, the problem is that he can't, you know, he's going to have to stay in the hospital until they can figure out a way to make that respiratory system thing movable. So we're going to time skip. You know, he was home or hospital schooled, I guess you could say. God, I feel horrible. I'm a horrible human being. Please forgive me. Please. Please forgive me. I am a horrible being. But I fear no man. Anyway, I am sorry. Okay, so the way, Izuku figures out a way to make it mobile, so he sets it up and then he pulls the one that he has on his face off. He does have a version of gills, I guess you could say. Oh, by the way, you know how I said he has like tentacle arms? Basically, that's like wrapping around his normal arms. It's basically like that all over his body, except for his face. And they're all attached to like his back. So he's like a bunch of like tentacles or whatever, like wrapped around him at all times. First, no. Don't scream at me. Second. And third, leave your diaper on, you bad little girl. Okay. Now, back to the story. I'm sorry about that. I'm just gonna take this out of here. As I was saying, unfortunately, I got interrupted yet again. This is extremely annoying. Oh God, this is disgusting. Okay. Now, getting back into the story. Once he rips it off. Oh, yeah. By the way. Oh, crap. Hold on, I will. Thank you. Hi. We good? We good.
Let's sit right there so I can sit down.
Also, I'm recording. Back to the story. When Midoriya, figured out how to make it, he was like, hey, I made a mobile one. Screw it. He does look a lot like Vilgax. Also, I don't know. Hold on. Just a few seconds ago, Vilgax is 15 feet tall. Oh, I just got an ingenious idea. Okay. So Izuku knows that his, quirk is slowly tearing his body apart, which it is. So he figures that cybernetics are the way to go. And with his, superhuman intelligence, because of his quirk, he implants a cybernetic thing, he has an implant in his brain, which allows him to think a lot faster than a human, and his, reaction speed to jump up, and, his perception to slow down. His perception of time to slow down when he has adrenaline, and he can control his adrenaline rushes. After that, he figures out how to augment his body to make it, workable. So, he looks like normally Izuku when he's wearing clothes. Like, he normally wears, a jacket, like a leather jacket, and that respirator, and fingered gloves. And dark blue jeans and black combat boots. Because, why not? I want him to look fresh. He does still have his green hair. Ooh, that's a really cool idea. Okay, you know how I said the tentacle things don't wrap around his face? Well, I just thought of a really cool idea. When they do, it just, it covers his face. It makes his face look like Vilgax's. with the respirator. And the reason he needs the respirator is because his lungs are forced to breathe what Vilgax breathes. Now, hold on, I have to ask another question. Also, oh. So, he does, activate, give himself cybernetic enhancements. Although he carries them in, like, I don't know. Like in a little pouch in his pocket that, he also invented some kind of like shrinking and growing technology. Although he can only do it to like, decent sized objects. Itchy. Now he's not gonna have laser beam. Well, he might. I might take away the laser beam ability because laser beams are stupid. Well, not really. Yeah, sure. He can keep the laser eyes. When he takes off his jacket, you can see like these ports in his arms that he takes out pouches. He takes out a pouch. You know what? I'll explain it later. Anyway, so Midoriya, he's been training how to use his quirk. He's figured out how to shoot laser beams, create cyclones apparently. Learned how to become pretty much fireproof, which is another thing that well, not really. Yeah, not really. I mean, I was about to say learning how not to be learning how to be fireproof, because apparently the newer vilgax can just get burned in the volcano, but he would have been burned alive. He would have been dead. But yeah. I guess it's still technically canon. I hate the new Ben 10. I like the Shock Rock. That's the only one I like out of that whole series. Just Shock Rock. He's cool. He's my only favorite alien out of that entire series. It was freaking... That series is horrible. Well, it's not bad. I just don't like it. I like the original, okay? I'm an OG fan. It just feels... It's just different. I don't know. There's no real story or plot. It's just kind of... Then, a lot of TV is like that nowadays. A lot of cartoons have zero plot nowadays. Back in the old days, back in ye olden days, they used to be good, but, cartoons nowadays. Anyway, sorry, I keep going on a rant. So Izuku, even without, activating, with his normal physical strength, he's able to lift a car, jump over, like a 5 to 6 story building, run, as you know, his reflexes are enough to catch a kinoceleran, which, if you don't know what that is, basically, it's a bug that goes zoom. Quite literally. It's a bug that goes zoom, and it only lives for a week. Literally. Like, I didn't know this until recently. Apparently, if you know who Accelerate is, and like the original Ben 10, apparently they only live for a week. It's kind of sad. It really is. It makes me feel sad. That's whatever. They're a really cool species. Also, if you don't know what a kinoceleran is, basically, it could probably... It's one of Ben's fastest aliens, if not the fastest alien Ben has. Well, that's why he has aliens that teleport, aliens that freeze time. But, you know, in terms of actual speed without messing with the laws of reality, yeah. Accelerate is your dude. The guy can probably move at about, like, 2,000 meters a second. I don't know. Anyway. He's able to run. He's able to run pretty quick. I don't know how quick. Because, I mean, Vilgax just kind of jumps around. I honestly didn't know he flew. Oh, it's probably in the later seasons. Because he doesn't fly in the OG. That's the one I'm basing him off of. He might be able to, you know, gain other abilities and crap. He is going to be a hero, but he's going to be... like, he's not going to be like an Endeavor hero. But, you know, he's going to be different. He's not going to be like All Might. He's going to be like... well, he's going to be... he wants to be the number one. He's not going to let anything or anyone get in his way. You know, and he does have, you know, temper. You know, he has a temper on him. And he's Vilgax. What Vilgax doesn't have an anger issue? Like, I'm sorry. If you ever make a Vilgax and you don't make him have anger issues, there's something wrong with you. There really is something wrong with you. But eventually, you know, he's gonna figure out, you know, he's gonna figure out how to stay calm in one way or another. And when he, you know, has those rods in, which, I'm gonna say are like fuel cells, they like supercharge his, you know, muscles and crap. You know, he grows full Vilgax size, which is like 50. I still can't believe Vilgax is like 17 to 15 feet tall. Jeez. This man full towering over All Might. Dear Lord. He's more than... he's not double, if not more, of All Might's height. I'm sorry. I'm keep getting off track, but still. It's nuts. It's absolute crazy talk. If you would have told me Vilgax is taller than All Might before this video, I would have been like, nah, you crazy. You crazy, bro. They're the same height. They're the same height. I don't know. It's weird. Then again, in the later seasons, he became like a freaking cosmic entity that had to be killed by a magic sword. So honestly, at this point, who cares? I'm sorry. This is just confusing. Ugh, whatever. Anyway, Midoriya, you know, is his first, you know, he's like, I want to go to UA. I want to be a hero. And they're like, sure, you can, I guess. Also, Vilgax was a, you know, a talented strategist. Izuku, being a boss, is going to be even more of a strategist, and he's going to have analyzed more heroes. He would have been able to figure out pretty much everything. Not everything, but he'd be able to figure out if he was to ever get into a fight with a certain hero, if they'd gone bad, he'd figure out the perfect way to counter them and win. Because he also has, like, you know how I said he has shrinking technology? Well, yeah. In his, basically, Time Lord technology. You know, his pockets go pretty much infinitely. He can store whatever he wants in there. It's bigger on the inside, basically. I don't know. So when Midoriya... I'm sorry. I keep getting off track. I just want to explain it as best I can so y'all don't get confused later. Midoriya, you know, it's the first day of UA. Midoriya, he has to wear a hoodie. You know, he likes wearing a hoodie. And it's like a zip-up hoodie under his leather jacket. I know, that's not... It sounds weird, but if Alex Mercer could pull it off, I'm going to say he could. If you don't know who Alex Mercer is, get out. Just go. I'm just playing, but still. Go look up Prototype. It's a good game. Anyway, but this one's like a zip-up one, to where like no one can see his face. So he gets ready. I need to pick that up right quick. Nope, never mind. That was a bad idea. I should not have walked in there. Okay. He aces the entrance exam. You know, he's walking up to the gate. You know, he starts cracking his knuckles. He's like, should I? You know, he's debating in his head. You know, I'm going to say he's wearing a watch. He presses a button and it just projects holograms and stuff. He starts typing away on it, doing calculations. He's trying to figure out whether or not to use his enhancements. He's trying to weigh the pros and cons. You know, he's like, screw it, I'll use them. So, you know, he takes off, you know, while he's waiting for everyone, you know, he takes off his hoodie. Everyone, President Mike saw his face and he's like, oh, so you're the kid with that really weird quirk. You know, he looks up at President Mike. You know, he finished taking off his jacket. He takes out, don't like that. Anyway, he takes like a little pouch and he sets it down. Sorry. Something was blocking my nose. We're good. Yeah, we're fine. Anyway, Midoriya, you know, when he takes out a small rod, it turns into, the base of it fits in his hand. No, it turns into like, he takes out one of the little rods and puts it in his arm. And then it grows to fit the hole. You know, he does it to all the ports on his arms. I'm gonna say he has some on his legs, you know, just because. And his back. You know, he has 3 parallel on each side of his spine. So he'll have one on the right and one in the exact same spot on the left, going from his shoulders down. He has 3 on his right forearm, 3 on his left, 1 in each shoulder. He has 3 angled going into his thighs, and 2 in each of his calves. Yeah, he's got a few of them. And then they can be used. You can use them for for like an hour at most, because that's what, you know, he can use them as long as he wants, but, you know, the longer he uses them, the more pain it causes him, because that's what it is like. And then Midoriya also, you know, when he uses it, he gets smarter. And, you know, it also generates more, you know, tendrils that wrap around him, giving him like an extra layer of protection. I'm gonna say, you know what, screw it. He has energy manipulation too, so he can not only fire like lasers out of his eyes, but he can create like a energy barrier around him that's invisible. and a bunch of other stuff. Just don't worry about, the rest of it. I'll explain the rest later. So, he loads up on all of them, which I'm gonna say, he was able to create, like, clothing that he can just, when he, locks it into place, it just goes around it. Like nanites, I guess? I don't know. Nanobots, whatever you want to call them. I don't know, man. And then Midoriya, he starts stretching. At first he's not going to use the amplifiers, but, if the situation gets serious, he's going to, switch to the amplifiers, which make him, like, as, normal, as big as Vilgax, like I said. But, he gets bigger because his, he has more, and they're made, I'm gonna just say he somehow created the same material Vilgax uses for it. His versions. So, yeah, don't worry. There are the same strengths. Izuku can just use more because, his willpower is freaking indomitable. That's not the point. Anyway, Midoriya gets into a running position. His eyes go red because Vilgax's eyes are red. See? Continuity. Yeah. And normally his eyes are green, but, when he's getting serious, they go red. Indicating, like, I'm ready to use my lasers whenever. Also, if Izuku, uses the bio enhancement, he can't, Eraser, why do I say Eraser? Aizawa can't stop his quirk because it gets too strong. It goes to a literal other level. So, Izuku's in a running position, and everyone shows up and sees him in a running position. They're like, what is this kid? What is he wearing? And I'm gonna say at this point he put on, like, his both his jackets back on and zipped up his hoodie. Once he's in a running position, President Mike yells, "Go! There's no countdown, no." And Izuku's already through the door. He's already punched through, like, 3 robots. He looks at his hand. He rips it out of all of them. He looks at it. It's already regenerating, so is the clothing. You hear, like, a... Oh, this is gonna be a massacre. Izuku, he's gone. He's already running. He starts clotheslining robots, ripping them in half. The robots with, like, tails, I guess. Like, some of them do have tails. I saw, like, the designs. Some of them do. The ones with, like, tails or really long arms, he'd just throw them over his shoulder and just, like, give him the Loki treatment, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. If you don't, I'm kind of disappointed, but, it's whatever. It's whatever. He keeps doing it. By the time that the 0 pointer shows up, he's probably already racked up, like, 100 points. And, like, 20 hero points because he saved a few people by not really accident. I mean, he probably would have figured out, like, wait, this is a hero exam. They probably would want us to save people. Because, he's smart. Also, I don't know if the bio enhancements make Vilgax stupider when he uses them, but, Izuku's makes him smarter. Because I want it to. You're not going to stop me. This is my what if. You cannot stop me. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get through this. I want it to be cool. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, he sees the 0 pointer. He's like, oh yeah, a challenge. I have to look something up right now. A lot smaller. Good God, they're tall. Oh well. You know, Midoriya is pretty big. So, just whatever. You know what? Ooh. Screw it. I'm gonna make him 44 feet tall. I'm just gonna double his height because, you know, he's using more than double what Vilgax uses. Because he only uses like 3 in each arm. Izuku's using like more than 3 in each arm. So I'm just gonna double his height because it's gonna make him like twice as big. So it's gonna be like 44 feet tall. So it's gonna be, you know, it'll kind of be even. Kind of, sort of, but Izuku's gonna be way stronger. Izuku's like, screw it, fire them all. Also, there's a computer in his brain. You know, he programmed a computer that does what he tells it to do. It also it'll give him, if he can't figure out a way, the computer will figure out a way to, you know, make sure he don't die. Because if he die, you know, the computer kind of done. But it's going to be really hard because his regen factor is through the freaking roof. You know, Izuku's running, and everyone notices, like, wait, you know, is he getting bigger? You know, by the time they notice this, you know, the tendrils have almost completely enveloped him. He's like, yep, here we go. You know, all of the, I'm just going to call them pistons, all the pistons had fired into Izuku's body, you know, supercharging his bio, his enhancements, biological enhancements, making him, you know, shoot up in, you know, size, you know, making him a lot bigger. You know, I'm gonna say he had jumped right before he finished, you know, and then when he crash landed, the 0 point is still probably yeah, it definitely towers over him. I'm just gonna say he's about, like, half of its size. No, wait, I feel stupid. I don't know. Yeah, anyway. You know, he grabs it in a place where it's, like, it's unable to move. He's like, okay, any civilians? You know, he notices there is a girl. God, this is about to be, ugh. Do I really want to do this? Do I? Is this a bad idea? Should I have done this? Yes. The answer is yes. And this is a very bad idea, but I'm going to do it. Gwen Stacy Tennyson. No. I'm a freaking idiot. Her middle name's not Stacy, but Gwen 10, yeah, is trapped into the rubble. Her power is similar to the one it is in Ben 10 canon, but, you know, it's not actual magic. It's like quirk magic, so, you know, it runs off of a similar energy, but, you know, she's not able to alter the laws of the space-time continuum with it. So I'm pretty sure they can. Just be glad I haven't made Izuku Alien X, because someone did do that, and it was stupid. In my opinion, it's kind of dumb. Because, like, he'd have to talk to, like, 2 other people to literally do anything. Unless you just made him the main conscious and just gave him the keys, which is, yeah, I find it kind of dumb. I find the whole concept dumb, but that's just me. You know, he's like, oh, dang it. Also, when he, you know, all of the things shoot in, it creates, like, his battle suit, which looks a lot like Vilgax's, minus the veins. And you know, he pushes the zero pointer back because he is a lot stronger than the zero pointer, even though he's like less than half the size. He can still push it back because he's like much stronger than the zero pointer. You know, he runs over and he uses his tendrils to not even throw, like move the rubble off of her, pick her up, and then he just kind of runs. You know, like boom, 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 boom. He made sure she was safe. You know, he brought her over to the other people, dropped her, turned around, you know, and then he just kind of jumped, which made him, you know, high enough off the ground to where you can see the zero pointer. You know, he just laser beam straight into the zero pointer, which is now melting because of the heat, you know. And he's falling, well, it's not melting, it's just getting really hot. It's getting close, but, you know. Once he gets close, you know, he brings back his fist and just starts pounding into the zero pointer's head. He lands on the zero pointer's head and starts bashing it. He's like, okay, if we actually compare, you know, Izuku in this big form to the zero pointer's actual head when, you know, sitting vertically, Izuku's like 4 feet taller. Boy. Yeah. Anyway, so he's like wailing, laying into the zero pointer. You know, the zero pointer's starting to glitch out and it just kind of falls. Izuku then, you know, no, it's trying to get it, it's about to grab Izuku and get him off, but Izuku uses his tendrils to rip off the zero pointer's arm. And by doing so, he, you know, gives himself enough leverage to jump up pretty high. And then he brings the zero pointer's arm down on its head. You know, making a U. Just, squish. Not really squish, but, you know. Izuku then, you know, grabs it by its legs and then throws it into the air. You know, and then he does full powered. You know, he does it into his hands too because he can fire lasers out of his hands and stuff. You know, and his eyes. So he does like super, you know, he launches a bunch of energy beams at it, destroying it, causing it to explode and just evaporate midair. Because Izuku, you know, is a boss. Anyway. I'm sorry, I'm doing something. Hold on. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So then Izuku, you know, he starts shrinking because, you know, he's actually very tired from using the ability. So, you know, he hits the ground, you know, he face plants into the ground, and then, you know, he actually starts shrinking. Don't ask me how it would be possible for Canon Izuku to turn into a 44-foot monster. Just don't worry about it, okay? I'm gonna give him, like, he's as tall as Ida when not using, you know, the enhancements. So, and if he uses half enhancement, he's as tall as Vilgax. When he uses all of them, he's like double Vilgax, which makes him like quadruple the size of. Oh my, jeez, that'd be terrifying to see those two go at it. Then again, I just thought of us like Izuku would probably, you know, once their fists met, he'd probably like wrap his tendrils around All Might's hand, you know, start squeezing and like shattering bones while slamming him into the ground. And then, you know, grabbing his other arm and doing the same. And, you know, just laser blast All Might has some pretty good durability, but Vilgax literally survived a nuclear apocalypse. Literally survived a nuke point blank range without any enhancements. I'm pretty sure that's what that said. I might have to double check. But yeah. In terms of durability, Izuku wins. Anyway, I'm sorry I keep getting off track. So, Izuku wakes up in Recovery Girl's office. He's like, ugh, what happened? Also his, clothes did get ripped. Most of his clothes were ripped. Yeah, screw it. All of his clothes were ripped. Everyone could see his, no one could see his face because he was laying in a weird way. And all the pro heroes were like, stay back. We don't know if his quirk could go off again. If it does go off again, if you get too close, you could get squished. So, Izuku's mom and dad are super well known because they run like a multi-million-dollar company. Yeah, I probably should have mentioned that at the beginning. Anyway, that's how he was able to get his hands on all the resources and crap that he needed to make all the crazy stuff he has. Anyway, so when he wakes up, he's like, ugh, what happened? He feels his face, and he's like, okay, my respirator's still on. That's good. He's saying this all in his head, by the way. He's not saying it out loud. He looks around. He moves the curtain. He sees that he's in like a nurse's office. So he gets up and he's like, okay, these aren't my clothes. Good boy. These aren't my clothes. Okay. What now? He begins walking around. Recovery Girl walks into this point and she's like, oh dear, please sit down so I can do a quick checkup. He's like, he says this out loud. He says, sorry, but I gotta get home. I'll be fine. I'll check myself out. Nothing seems to be broken. He pulls back his sleeve. All of the pistons, he calls them pistons, are still in place. He takes out his watch. He presses a button on his watch. He types a few he types some code. Like, a few drones pop out of the watch. They scan his body. They pop back in. No injuries detected. Physical or mental. No physical injuries detected. Although the ability did take a toll on your body. You would be okay in a few days with rest and relaxation. Remember, his his regen ability is really good. So it might not take less than a day. He's like, take away a few days. I'll be fine. Alright. I'm gonna head home. I'm just gonna go. So, if you need to contact me, my parents' info. So, I'm gonna just go home and take a nap. I'm tired. He walks home. Also, no one really looks at him because I'm gonna say, he pressed a few buttons and, his clothes came back on him. Also, because they've just released like nanites or nanobots or whatever and just created new clothes for him. He also took out the pistons and, and put them back into their holster thing. So yeah. When Izuku, gets home, he's like, hey mom, hey dad, I'm home. They're like, oh hey son, how are you? How was the exam? He was like, it went pretty good. I saved somebody, used I used the pistons that I created. And they're like, oh, what do you mean pistons? He's like, oh, right, I never showed you. So, he rolls up his sleeve, showing like a bunch of holes, and they're like, when did you get these? It's a biological enhancement that I, just so happened to add to myself. Thank you very much. Honestly, I thought it was an amazing idea. Because, A, with these things, with the resources I had, I created a new element that supercharges my body, the nanites in my body, which then amplify all of my abilities. So, yeah, works out in the end. He says this while rubbing the back of his neck. It's like, listen, I'll explain the tech later. I'm tired, so I'm gonna go to bed. They're like, okay, have a good nap. He's like, thanks. See you tomorrow? They're like, yeah, see you tomorrow. Because they had to go to work the next day. And Izuku knew that. It was just kind of crappy. So, week passes, he gets his acceptance letter, and then when he gets into class, he shows up early to class. He gets into his seat. He's wearing the same hoodie. Nah, screw it. I'm changing some. It's not like a full face zip up hoodie. It's just like a hoodie that hides his face, but you can still see the respirator. So Izuku's sitting. He's lost in thought. He doesn't realize people started walking in and looking at him. Like he has his fingers crossed, elbows on the desk, just chilling. Being like, I wonder what is going to happen today. My phone just went off, but I don't want to open it. Hold on a second. Oh, great.
Fill it, and then I need you to help me get them to my bedroom. She's sick as.
Okay. Can I still make my video?
Huh?
Can I continue making my video?
Okay, Mom. Yes, B. B. B.
Anyway, Midoriya, after a few... You know, everyone stares at Midoriya, who, they can't see his face, but they can tell his eyes are glowing because he's making them glow. He's showing, like, listen, if you don't stop, I'm tired. Anyway, so Izuku then is like, sorry, we got off on the wrong foot. The light disappears, and then he gets up, and then he walks over. I'm Izuku Midoriya. It's a pleasure to meet you. He says, the pleasure is mine. My name is Tenya Ida. And he's like, listen here, extra. I don't need your... Do you need to know my name? I don't want to know your name, but you're going to need to listen to mine, because I'm going to be the #1 hero. Huh. Sure. That spot's taken by me, thank you. No, Bakugo's like, what? No, that's my spot. I'm the number one. Uh-huh. Well, if you do not mind, I would like for you to be quiet, so I may prepare for class. And I would assume the person... Hold on. Shh. Hush, I'm gonna come get you. I would think the person slumbering behind the desk would also agree, along with everyone in this class, that you are being obnoxiously loud. My ears are hypersensitive to noise, and you're just causing me a headache. Where you want me to put it?
Over there. The pads are over there too. I just set them over there.
Okay. I'm gonna just put it right here so I can clear off a space for it.
Go get your sister. She's on the function.
Okay. Anyway, Midoriya, was like, and then Bakugo's like, what'd you say? Midoriya made tendrils, wrapped them around Bakugo's mouth, and lifted him up with one arm. He says, listen, and I will not repeat myself again, boy. Silence, or I will ensure that you can only remain silent. And then I'm gonna say, he uses... Go lay down. Where's your mama? Oh, over there. Okay. She's gonna get up and walk around, I think. So you want me... Right, I have to move that. Move these, and these, and this. Put those there. Anyway.
Then you need to get my keys.
And lock the top lock? Uh-huh.
Press lock on them twice and then work me.
Okay. Let me plug this in.
I know.
Hold on a second, you guys. Just... No. I'm doing a little something. Then he uses his right arm to, he creates a tendril, not really creates, but uses his quirk to make a tendril appear in his right arm. From by the back door. Got it. Oh, I see him. I'm gonna come get you. Hold on. There we are. He creates a tendril that wraps around his finger, then lights up red. There we go. Alright, you want me to kill this light?
Yeah, go get your brother.
I am. Okay. Then he says, Bakugo sweat drop. Let's go tonight.
Yes!
Oh, shush, don't yell. Sweat drops. Because he's incredibly nervous. Then he's like, okay. Alright, going tonight?
He goes over there.
Okay, sorry. Going tonight? Alright. Keys, press lock twice. I'm gonna go find it. Hold on. Just a second. Lord. Okay. Dude, where is it? Where'd the cup go? It's gotta be in here, right? If not, I'm gonna be mad. Aha! I knew it was in here. Crap, though. Midoriya, then he's like, alright then. He's like, do you understand, child? Bakugo nods. He does a thumbs up because he can't really nod, and then he's like, good. Good. Glad to know we've come to an understanding. Go to bed.
Make sure you get my keys and lock that fucking front door up.
Yes, ma'am.
Lock my bedroom door and turn off the light in the hallway.
Got it.
In the dining room.
I know what you mean. Midoriya then says, glad we've come to an understanding. Now, I would like for our teacher to not be upset when he wakes up. As I was chill minus this, like, oh, he knew I was back here without even coming to look. Incredible. This kid's got a knack for sensing people's energy. Alright. Well, he's gonna let me sleep. So, yeah.
Look, Levi, I'm team you. Whoever you want to be. Me and I will never leave you behind. Technically, you're leaving Vlad behind. Maybe I will too.
Anyway.
Future is bright. Wait it so. We'll be right back on Disney Channel.
Just how one bad day from the past,
Okay.
one moment can change everything.
What do you want us to do? Ready for one last trip? Let's do this. What do you think I'm gonna
Okay. Then Midoriya, he finally gets up and is like, I'm gonna eat some pizza. I'm just playing, he's not like that. He finally takes care of
Looks good. And you can save 30 to 50% on your electric bill.
Oh, I'll save a lot more than that. I'll save everyone in...
Anyway, Midoriya, he says, you hear an audible, I wonder how long our teacher's going to rest. I may need to check his pulse. This could be a test, but better safe than sorry. It's been like 5, 10, 20 minutes. Almost an hour. He gets up out of his seat, walks over to the podium. He looks behind it. Oh, our teacher is the eraser head. The eraser hero. Poor lad. He walks over to his desk, picks up his backpack, opens it, takes something out of it. He walks back over. He pokes Aizawa. Aizawa's like, what? He offers him what he pulled out of his backpack, which was a drink. He was like, what is this? It's a coffee. What kind of coffee? Take a sip. You will enjoy. Believe in me. He takes a sip. He's like, God, that's good. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's like, what is this, and how do I get more? He's like, don't worry, I have more than enough. He's like, where did you get it? I made it. He's like, no way a kid could make coffee this good. He's like, Well, if you live on your own for long enough, you learn how to do stuff pretty well. Anyway, if you wouldn't mind, I would like to get to the lesson. I came here to learn how to be a hero. And I intend to do that with everything I have. He's like, oh, you're the kid that can get really, really big. Well, I prefer if you didn't know me like that. But, someone I used to know gave me this nickname. You know, he was like, he took off his hoodie. You know, everyone could see his face. They could see, like, his green hair. You know, he had a few scars on his face, and his, like, super bright emerald green eyes. He's like, an old friend of mine once told me. An old friend of mine gave me this nickname. I kinda liked it, so I stuck with it. Call me Vilgax. I was gonna say Gax, but nah, that's stupid. Anyway, then Midoriya, you know. Second, I'm eating food. I'm hungry. Thank you. And then Midoriya, you know, he says, "Dear Lord." No, Aizawa says, "Okay, you're staying. The rest of you, quirk apprehension test. Assessment test. You're gonna stay no matter how high or low you place. I don't care. You are staying. You are now my favorite student." Izuku's like, "Thank you?" Also, yes, Gwen is replacing Uraraka because logic. Anyway, Uraraka did get 1B, so they have something going for him. Moma just isn't in 1B no more. Anyway, Midoriya, you know, he's stretching. He's like, "So what do I have to do?" You can use those things you call pistons or not. Just use whatever you want to throw this ball as hard as you can. He's like, alright, I don't need my cybernetics for this. You know, he winds back his arm and when he throws it, you know, it does a sonic boom. He's like, you know, even without my cybernetics, I'm pretty strong. Gotta take note of that. Don't want to accidentally break something when I'm moving something. You know what? For another day. Is that all? Yeah, that was pretty much it. Alright. 200 kilometers. Nice throw. I was like, thank you. You know, everyone's like, 200 kilometers? That's a lot. You know, Baku's like, that's bullcrap. No one can throw 200 kilometers. You know, as I was like, really? Then why did I get that result on my phone? You know. Izuku's like, watch. He's like, do you want me to rethrow? You know, Aizawa says, you don't have to, but you could. In fact, I got an idea. You let one of them throw. Wait until the end. You know, it's the end, you know, Baku's like, so, you're saving the best for last, teach? He's like, no, I'm gonna prove your statement at the beginning of this wrong. Throw this ball using your quirk. You know, Baku has one for all on this, he's also trained, so, you know, he throws the ball with one for all and his explosions, sending it about 500-ish meters. He's like, what? I thought that would go, no, like 600-ish meters. I don't know, man. And he's like, what? I thought it would go way farther. He's like, and you call his throw weak. Alright, that's 600 kilometers. Now, I'm gonna have our my favorite student, Vilgax, throw the ball at the same strength as Bakugo used, as Katsuki over here used. Izuku's like, so you want me to hold back that much? Really? Ugh, okay. You know, he tosses the ball up and down. So you want me to use the exact same power level, or you want me to use about the amount of strength that I used? Now, what I mean is, he's asking Aizawa, does he want him to use the same amount of strength Bakugo used during his throw, or the same level of strength? Like, if Bakugo used 50% of One For All, that's like 2% of his full power. Does he want him to use that, or does he want him to use 50% of his full power? Which is more than, like, a lot more. Like, no, like 40% of One For All is like 2% of Izuku's full power. He's like, yeah, use the same amount of power. He's like, okay. You know, he uses 40% of his full strength. You know, he throws the ball. It almost breaks Mach, and it goes 1,600 kilometers. No. 1 kilometer and 600 meters. I so butchered that all the way. Anyway. Bakugo's like, what? How strong is he? He's like, is that all? Or do you need anything else? It's like, that'll be all. Thank you, favorite child. Also, do you have any more coffee? He's like, yeah, I got some more in my bag. Hey, red hair. She's like, huh? Me? Yeah, you. Can you toss me my bag? Sure. You know, she levitates it over to him. He's like, levitation. That's a pretty cool ability. Where is it? Man, this backpack is huge. You know, he puts his whole head in there and his arms. He's like, here it is. You know, he takes out a whole case. As I was like, how? Don't question it. My parents are really rich, so I had more than enough time on my hands to build what I wanted. So just don't worry about it, okay? As I was like, you know what? You're my favorite student. I'm not gonna question it. You know, he takes the coffee. He's like, nectar of the gods. He's like, wait, does Principal Nezu like tea? He's like, as I was like, yeah. Oh, good. You know, I can make a mean brew. He's like, judging by the way you make coffee, I would say you would be excellent in making tea. You can go to Nezu's office after orientation. Anyway, that'll be all. Everybody go. And then, you know, Izuku walks over to Nezu's office, introduces himself, gives him some tea. Nezu is like, dear lord, it's the best tea ever. Nectar of the gods! Izuku can make a mean brew. Anyway, Midoriya, you know, it's the next few days. All Might walks in, haha, I am here, da 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 da, let's go do this. Heroes versus villains thing. Also, Mineta did get kicked out. He was replaced with Uraraka. You know. So, you know, all the girls think Midoriya is like super cool. And Gwen thinks the same way, and she's like, man, I hope I get paired with him. You know, they draw the same lots, and he's like, oh, hey, you're the girl that I saved at the entrance exam. You're Gwen, right? She's like, you know my, holy crap, he knows my name, yeah, that's me. I'm Gwen Tennyson. Nice to meet you. He's like, Izuku Midoriya. Call me vilgax. Anyway, since we're gonna be working together, I'm guessing I'm fighting Bakugo and Uraraka. Also, yeah, that's the Bakugo ship for this. Uraraka. Yeah, not much you can do about it. I honestly hate the ship myself, but, you know, I have to ship him with someone, and he's not getting anyone else. Anyway, so Midoriya's like, alright, I have a plan. What's your plan? That Katsuki kid is gonna be after me because I'm stronger than him. He won't even know that your abilities also surpass him. So he'll only see me as a prime target. That means you can slip away. Do you have a form of night vision? She's like, yeah, I can see pretty well in the dark. Good. I have a plan then. I have an even better plan. We black out the building. I use my energy to sense where this Ida kid is because I'm going to assume Bakugo isn't Katsuki or this Bakugo kid won't use proper teamwork. He'll just tell this Ida child to stay at the bomb and protect it. I'll just sense his energy signature, and then we go there. Once there, we take out Ida, grab the bomb while the lights are out. She's like, that's a really good plan. But what if Bakugo, you know, knows the lights went out? That's why we wait outside for a little while. Wait till he gets to the lower levels. Once the lights go out, it'll be harder for him to track his way back up. Well, also, we have to find the fuse box, which I would assume is on the backside of the building. You know, and Izuku's plan goes flawlessly because he's the boss. Anyway, so Izuku then, you know, he got up after, you know, restraining Ida. He's like, alright, well, since we won, you should probably release your spell on the your quirk on the power grid. You know, the grid comes back online, they see Izuku and Gwen, and they see Izuku holding Ida up by the back of his armor, and Gwen with the bomb in hand, and Bakugo, you know, lost. You know, then, as All Might says, I'm sorry, I'm tired, so I'm kind of all over the place. Hero team wins! Yay! So, all the other fights go to canon. Oh wait, it's not Ida, it's Oshako. Crap. I'm stupid. Anyway, yeah, all the other fights go to canon. Except for where Mineta was removed, it was placed with Uraraka. Okay. Anyway. No. When Mineta got removed, that's where Uraraka, so she was teamed up with Momo. So, yeah. Anyway. Anyway, then Midoriya was like, okay, you know, we're in a time skip to before the USG attack. You know, everyone was asking Midoriya, like, why does he wear the respirator? You know, Sue was like, so why do you wear that respirator, Ribbit? He's like, well, I would enjoy not suffocating. She was like, you know, Kirishima was like, you know, Bakugo was listening in, like, weakness? You know, Kirishima was like, what do you mean, suffocate? Well, because of my quirk, I can only breathe, I can only breathe a certain type of air, or, yeah, air. Without this respirator, I would suffocate and die within 20 to 30 minutes. Although it may be grafted to my skin, if it's broken in any way, it could be rendered useless. But I made it out of a nearly indestructible alloy that I created, so I should be safe from that. Also, I have a question. If I play music in the background, would y'all be okay with that? And would I be safe from the eyes of the almighty YouTube? Anyway. When Midoriya, you know, entered the USJ, he's like, there's another hero here. I would suppose it's a rescue hero. Am I correct, Eraser? He's like, correct again, favorite student. It's 13, you know. Uraraka freaked out like, oh my god, it's 13, my favorite hero. You know, Gwen was like, so you use that really cool ability of yours again? Yeah. With it, I can sense people's energy. My own energy abilities. Anyway. You know, he was about to say something else, and then he immediately stops. Aizawa. He's like, what's wrong? Evacuate everyone. You can't get everyone out in time. Tell 13 to stay with the students. I'm gonna go down. He's like, what's going on? We're under attack. Kaminari, try to radio for help. He's like, why? You know, the portal begins appearing. Wait, what? You know, and Midoriya was like, alright, erase their head. Keep your eye on the battlefield. If anyone gets too close to this, guard the bottom of the stairs. 13, find a way to protect all the kids. I'm gonna go down there and take out as many as I can. Although, their quirks seem kind of weak. Be a bit overkill to use the pistons. So I just won't use them unless it's necessary. You know, he jumps. You know, he grabs one of the, you know, he uses his tendrils to grab a couple villains' faces and slamming them into the ground. Afterward, he then used his laser beams to knock a bunch of people out by, you know, emitting a frequency which decreased the amount of dopamine, not dopamine, I don't know, it increased some kind of chemical that makes you tired in your brain. So he immediately hit the floor. He was like, alright, how many am I dealing with? You know, the computer in his brain is like, from all data shown, there's about 700 different villains scattered through this complex, the USJ complex. Okay. Threat levels. 400 less than threat. 300 non-threatened. Threat level 1. Threat level 0. I'm sorry. Hold on, I need to restart that. Izuku says threat levels. The computer starts chiming. Under 300, threat level 0. 200, threat level... Threat level 1. 100, threat level 4. And 97, threat level 5. No. 97, threat level 5. 3, threat level 9. High-valued targets. Analyze their biosignatures. Figure out which one of these are them. Biosignatures located in that direction. Warning. The one with the bird beak has shock absorption and hyperregeneration. The one with hands all over his face and body has disintegration, while the one that looks like it's made of vaporeal gas is made of... His quirk is teleportation. So the guy that teleports is my main priority. You know, he's like, Aizawa! You know, he hits a button on his respirator. Aizawa, and watch the guy with that's made out of gas. Take his quirk out, now! You know, Aizawa was like, copy! You know, he does the quirk erasure thing. You know, Izuku runs over there, knocks Kurogiri out with a swift punch. Shigaraki was like, what? That's not fair! Who are you? I had information on everyone. Yeah? Well, I altered my information. See, you thought my quirk was super intelligence. That's only part of it. Because I'm more than strong enough to put holes in you. You know, he starts cracking his knuckles. He's like, Nomu! Kill him! You know, the Nomu starts charging. Izuku's like, crap, gotta dodge! You know, he dodges out of the way. He's like, okay. So it only listens to him. You know, he's churning them. He's like, I already have the pistons in. I could go half. What are my chances of winning this fight? 70%. Depending on all of the different outcomes, you will most likely survive. There is a 20% chance that... The 70% chance is the chance that you will win, but there will be mass casualties. The other 20% is the chances you will lose. The 10% is winning this fight with 0 casualties. Okay, what do I have to do to get that 10%? Use half piston, use half of your full strength, and then every time the Nomu sends a shockwave, catch the Nomu's fists and absorb the shockwave, stabbing into the Nomu, sending it back into the bones, shattering the bones, rendering it immobile, and then jab the tendrils into the brain, frying the nervous system. This will render it immobile for 22.79 minutes. Long enough for me to figure out a way to vaporize it. Alright. What's the chances that guy will interfere? Also, his perception fragment is so slow that he's thinking all of this and the Nomu is just starting to stop its charge and turn towards Izuku. If you send Aizawa Aizawa to nullify the hand villain's quirk, the chances of him actually attacking you are even slimmer. But the chances are that Aizawa would win the fight. He's only used his quirk about 7 or 8 times now. Alright, I just need to dodge until Aizawa. Izuku jumps up. He's like, Aizawa, get the guy with their hands. He's like, but what about you? I can take him on. You only used your quirk a little while. That guy's quirk is disintegration. He touches me, it'll take me more than a while to heal. You can nullify his quirk and take him out. Now! He's like, copy! He starts running over to Shigaraki, who's monologuing about how this thing is made to kill All Might. Izuku then was like, well, if it's made to kill All Might, then it's going to be slaughtered by me. Izuku throws a punch, hitting it square in the chest. It's absorbing the shock to say that it has shock absorption. So it's growing in size. Shigaraki's like, what do you mean you're gonna win? It was made to kill All Might. Izuku's like, exactly. I'm not All Might. I'm stronger. Now! Aizawa, take him out now! Make sure you wrap his face. Make sure to make it to where he can't talk. Why? This thing only listens to his orders. I can't speak tonight. If he gives it the order, it will attack you. Understood. He uses his capture scarf to wrap his mouth and bound him, while also, using his quirk. Also, I'm gonna say he took a really long nap before getting there, so yeah, he can use his quirk for like a good bit. Midoriya then is like, alright, all its concentration's on me. He's like, and then Izuku's like, alright, let's do this. He starts growing, and he gets to like half size. The Nomu, is about to throw a shockwave punch, which basically, uses all the stored up kinetic shock, you know what I mean, like kinetic energy, in one punch. Izuku catches it and then, transfers it into like a spiral he made out of tendrils, stabbing it into the Nomu, blasting it back into the Nomu, shattering its bones. And then, he uses tendrils to jab into its brain, shocking it, rendering it unconscious. Then, he uses plasma to melt the brain, knocking it, killing it. He's like, the pistons pop out. He starts shrinking. He's like, okay, that was tiring. Ugh. Now I got a headache. Alright. He has his voice is a lot deeper now. He's like, alright, now, who sent you? He's like, none of your business. We are the League of... he kicks him in the face. Answer the question! Who are you? Who sent you? If you didn't know, you're like, holy crap, whoa. What happened to that random shift? What's up with a random shift in his personality? Vilgax has anger issues. Especially, he becomes pained and agitated when he uses his biological enhancements. Same goes for Izuku. And Izuku's a teenager, so, like, super anger issues. I'm not even capping. Yeah, he's really mad. He's like, answer the question, or I'm gonna blast a hole in your head. The villain's like, go ahead. You don't scare me, hero. He's like, alright. How long have you been playing? until you blink. I could go for a little while. Let go of his right hand. What are you about to do? Well, technically we're not the police. So technically, this isn't police brutality. So I'm about to shatter his arm until I'm going to start breaking his arm until he tells me what I want to know. He's like, you are brutal. And that's why I'm your favorite. Now give me his arm. He's like, here you go. You know, he unravels his right arm and then tightens the rope back up. Izuku takes his right arm. He's like, you gonna tell me? Screw you. Ooh, that's not the right answer. Okay. You willing to talk? I'll never tell you. Yeah. Now this may seem brutal, but Izuku is mad, he's tired, and now he has a migraine. So yeah, he's gonna be really mean. He's like, so, you're gonna answer the question? I'll never answer. You worthless wannabe. You know, he's already broken all 5 of the fingers on his right hand. He's like, okay. He shatters his forearm. He's like, I can stop. You can stop when I'll stop whenever you tell me what I want to know. Okay. The one who sent me is your mom. He's like, he pops it out of socket and then shatters his upper arm. You know, you hear Shigaraki scream and howl in pain. He's like, I'm gonna give you one more chance before I go to the left arm. By this point, Kurogiri wakes up. He's like, well, time to dip. You know, he cuts off the capture scarf and then warps Shigaraki out of there. Izuku's like, you freaking. You know, he goes to swing at Kurogiri, but he misses and hits the ground, you know, shattering the ground around him. He's like, oh, I'm gonna, the next time I see those freaking idiots, I'm gonna. Administering relaxing toxins. Basically, it's releasing calming toxins. Okay, that was scary. Anyway, the Midoriya's like, alright. What now? He's like, well, we have to report this, so he's like, alright then, let's go. You know, they report it, and then time skip. You know what? No. I'm gonna do the sports festival in the next part.